Be greeted, guys. This is still Elton from Maths and Science Series Education. We are continuing with trigonometry. We are doing part 3. I hope you watched part 1, which is the trig identities, part 2, the reduction formula. Now we'll be dealing with angles on a Cartesian plane, which is our part 3. So part 4 is coming very soon, so please make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified when we upload new videos. So angles on a Cartesian plane, actually we are taking it from grade 10 and 11 also, and 12. So make sure that you understand what we are going to do. All right, since we are dealing with angles on a Cartesian plane, what we need to understand, we talked about a Cartesian plane or a cast diagram. So this is a cast diagram. Remember, it has what first quadrant where all trigonometric functions are positive. Then the second one it is sine. On the third one it is tan, and on the fourth one it is cos. So the second one it is only cos that is positive. The third one it is only tan that is positive on that quadrant, and the fourth one it is what? It is cosine. Now here even the coordinates are positive. All of them are positive, x and y coordinates. So here we have x as negative and y as positive. So the most important thing for you guys, or the thing which I can tell you, is that make sure that you know these coordinates. Just know the two, because the one that you're going to write on the third one, it is the opposite of the first one. Since all are positive, it means here on the third one all are going to be negative. All the coordinates x and y, they're going to be negative. Then on the fourth one, it is the opposite of the second one. So as x it is negative on the second one, it means that on the fourth one it is going to be positive, and y is going to be negative. So make sure that you know this. Suppose you are given something like this: if cos theta equal to 4/5, and they give you that restriction saying that calculate without the use of a calculator and with the aid of a diagram the value of tan squared theta. Now the first thing we are interested on the trig function or trig ratio which you are given, which is cos theta equal to 4/5. Okay, remember that cos theta it is positive, or it is expressed as being positive. Now we have something known as SOHCAHTOA. Now we get the cos by adjacent over hypotenuse, or cos equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Since now we have cos theta, it means that 4 it is adjacent, which is x, and that 5 down there, the denominator, it is our hypotenuse. Now we are given cos as being positive 4/5. It is not negative, it is positive. Now we must use a diagram to represent what we have there. Now you draw your diagram. Now since cos there is positive, now we know that cos is positive on the first quadrant and on the fourth quadrant. Okay, but now we must draw our diagram or our right angle triangle in one of these two quadrants. So we have something there known as what? As a restriction. Theta is the element between 0 and 90. It tells us, or it restricts us, that we must draw our diagram between 0 and 90. So the second tick, we put it on the second, no, I mean on the first quadrant. Why? Because the restriction tells us that we must draw it between 0 and 90. I don't know if you get that. So the first quadrant, it is favored. Now you have your hypotenuse side, your adjacent side, but you don't have your opposite side. So we get it by theorem of Pythagoras, which is r squared equal to x squared. Now you substitute there your r squared, it is 5 squared. I mean your r is 5 open bracket 4 squared. Make sure that what I am doing here, you also do it on that paper which you are solving your problems, because the teacher or the marker must see this. Now when you are here, you just you get 9, you transpose that 16, okay. Then we are not looking for y squared, but we're looking for y. Now we'll say plus or minus, we put a square root, and here we put a square root. Why do we say plus or minus? Because we are not sure that y on the first quadrant, it is positive or negative. Therefore we'll have what? Plus or minus 3. Just punch root 9 on your calculator. Now since we know that y on the first quadrant, it is positive. Remember I said that all the coordinates are positive on the first quadrant. Therefore your answer, it will be positive. Now when you have this, you can do what? You can solve what they said you must solve or determine. So they say calculator, and with the aid of a diagram, the value of tan squared theta. So you must do what? You must determine the value of tan squared theta. And you know tan squared theta, it is what? It is opposite over adjacent, opposite over the adjacent side, which is 4. Now you start by opening your brackets, y over x, not forget the exponent 2 there. Now what is the value of y? It is the 3 that we got when we're using theorem of Pythagoras, over the x, which is positive 4 squared. Now you get your answer as 9 over 16. So this is how you are tackling these kinds of questions. But the first important thing you must know your quadrants. You must know the quadrants. So if you don't understand the quadrants, make sure you watch a reduction formula and get the clarity of the quadrants. Now, if 13 sine theta equal to -5, and the restriction you are given there, they say calculate without the use of a calculator and with the aid of a diagram the value of sine theta plus cos theta. The first thing, you write what you are given, that equation, 13 sine theta equal to -5. We must have something like sine theta equal to something over something, not 13 sine theta equal to -5. So we need to do what? We need to divide by that 13. Now this side will be left with sine theta equal to -5 over 13. Now we are glad because we are left with something sine theta equal to the fraction. Okay. Now since sine here, it is what? It is negative. The most important thing, you do what? Even if it was positive, they say with the aid of a diagram. So you make or you draw your diagram there. So sine, it is negative. It is expressed as being negative. So it is negative on the third quadrant and on the fourth quadrant. But now we go to what? To the restriction there, because we can't draw our triangles on both the quadrants. So they say from 90 to 270. So now the third quadrant get favored, or the second tick is on the it's on the third quadrant. Why? Because the restriction tells us that we must draw what? Our diagram from 90 to 270. Now the fourth quadrant fails. Now this is y and this is r. Our r here, it is 13. Then what is our y? Remember, on the fourth quadrant, all of them are what? They are negative, so we have -5. It is very important for you guys to understand this. Now we don't have the x. So how do we get the x? We get the x by doing what? By using the theorem of Pythagoras. You get the x there by doing the theorem of Pythagoras. Now if you do it, you will end up having -12 as your x. Remember, say plus or minus square root 144, and you know that on the third quadrant x, it is what? Is negative. Therefore they say calculate without the use of a calculator and with the aid of a diagram the value of sine theta plus cos squared, plus theta. So y over r plus x over r. Now what is the value of y? It is what? It is negative 5. That negative 5, it is the value of y over 13 sorry, it is 5 here, not negative 3, plus what is the value of x? It is negative 12. Use theorem of Pythagoras to get that negative 12 over 13. Now this thing you can also write it like this, like get rid of the brackets. You will have negative 5 over 13 minus negative 12 over 13. Then you do your cross multiplication or the LCD. You will get what? You will get negative 17 over 13 when you do cross multiplication. So I just wrote the final answer, but if you can do cross multiplication, and which is negative 5 times negative 13 minus 12 times 13 over 13 times 13, you will get negative 17 over 13. Alright, if sine theta equal to 3 over 5 and they give you that restriction determined by means of a diagram cos squared theta and 2 tan theta, the first thing that you must do, we are interested on the equations which we are given, which is sine theta equal to 3 over 5. So sine theta is expressed as being positive. Now you draw your Cartesian plane or your diagram there. So since it is positive on the first and on the second, remember. Now we go to our restriction there. It tells us that we must draw it between 0 and 90. So 0 and 90, 0 it is here, then the 90-degree it is up here. It means that the first quadrant get favored. Now the second tick will be on the first quadrant. So 0 and 90. Remember that sine is positive on the first and on the second. Now the first quadrant get favored. Now we draw our diagram on the first quadrant because the restriction restricts us that we must draw it between 0 and 9. Now we have our opposite as 3 and the adjacent as 5. Now you must get what? You must get the x by using what? The theorem of Pythagoras, which is x squared equal to r squared plus y squared. Now you have the hypotenuse side, which is 5. Now you put the squared. Remember, we don't have x, but we substitute what we have so that we can get what we do not have. Now here you get 25 equal to x squared plus 9. Now you get 16 here equal to x squared. Remember, I transpose that positive 9 on the left hand side. Then you must get rid of that exponent by putting what? The square root. And you also put it on the left hand side, but you say plus or minus square root 16y because we do not know if x it is positive or negative. Therefore we'll get plus or minus 4 equal to x. Now we know that on the first quadrant all the coordinates are positive, therefore x equal to positive 4 or positive 4 equal to x. Don't know if you get this. Now what you do here, we are calculating or determining cos squared theta, which is x over r squared. Now what is the value of of x? It is 4 and r it is 5 squared. Now we end up having our answer as 16 over 25. I hope you understand this. Now b, it is 2 tan theta. So I'm challenging you, do the second expression, 2 tan theta. Now the most important thing which we are interested at, it is the equation which we are given, which is tan theta equal to 5/12. Now we are given tan theta as being positive. Now we draw our diagram. It is very important that you draw it. Now theta, it is positive on the first and on the third. Now the restriction tells us that we must draw a diagram where sine is greater than 0. So greater than 0 means positive, but less than 0 means negative. Now we must draw our diagram where sine theta, it is negative when we look at these two quadrants where there are ticks. So sine theta, it is negative on the third quadrant. Therefore we'll draw our diagram on the third quadrant. Now we have what? Y over x, right? This is y and this, it is x. So what is our y there, or which side is our y? And remember, the coordinates on the third quadrant, they are all negative. Also the 5 or the y value will be negative. Understanding what the quadrants, that the coordinates of the third quadrant, it is what it is, they are all negative. So when you are here, you can look forward for the hypotenuse side and solve these three, and solve a and b. I am challenging you again. The most important thing, make sure that you look for the hypotenuse side and solve these two expressions. Now if 2 sine theta plus 1, okay, even if I don't read them. Now the most important thing is that the first thing for you to do there, guys, make sure that you write what you are interested at, which is the equation which you are given, and make sure that you understand the Cartesian plane and the restriction. So I'm challenging you with these two. Make sure that you do them. If for tan b minus 3 equal to 0 and the restriction there determined by means of a diagram, the first thing we're interested on the equation which we are given, which is for tan b minus 3 equal to 0. Now we must have something like tan b equal to a fraction. Now we are not dealing with this kind of an equation, so we must make it to be tan b equal to a fraction. So for tan b equal to positive 3, I transpose that positive 3 on the right hand side. I must divide by 4 both sides so that you can have a fraction. Now tan b divided by 4 and the 3 divided by 4. So now you will end up having something like tan b equal to 3 over 4. Sorry, it is 3 over 4. Okay, now we are happy because we have something tan b equal to a fraction. Now you draw what your Cartesian plane, and tan b there, it is what it is expressed as being positive. Now a tan ratio, it is positive on the first quadrant and the third quadrant, but they say the restriction, it is cos b less than 0. So we must draw our diagram where cos, it is negative. So cos, it is negative on the third one. Why? Because on the first one, all of them are positive. I don't know if you understand this one, but it's very important for you to understand it. Now we have our 3 there as being what? Negative. Our 3, it is the opposite side, and 4, it is the adjacent side. So we must look for remember the coordinates on the third quadrant, they are what? They are both negative. That is why I wrote negative 3 there and the negative 4. So use theorem of Pythagoras to get what they are. So r squared equal to, substitute the value of of x, which is negative 4, plus the value of y, which is negative 3, all squared. Now here you will have r squared equal to, you punch your calculator to get positive 16 plus 9. Now you'll have 25 here. Then you remove the exponent 2 by an exponent, by a square root. Now you do not say plus or minus. Why? Because r is always positive. You only write plus or minus when you are looking for y and x. I don't know if you understand that. Now they say solve 25 tan squared theta, which is 25 y over x. Remember, y over a, it's y over x there. Sorry, I wrote y over r. So y over x equal to y, it is negative 3, and x, it is negative 4. I made a mistake there. I made a mistake, but I hope you see the mistake which I made. I was supposed to write a negative 4, so I am incorrect there. But I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So instead of x, I wrote r, end up having 9, which is incorrect. Why? Because I wrote r there and I was supposed to write x. But it's fine, you can correct it and put x there. Now try to do the second one, which is b. Now if you do not get 1 as your answer, you're incorrect. Let us remind each other of this, that all triangles add up to 180. So the interior angles of all triangles, they add up to 180. Since I have 90 here and here I have 50, I need another digit so that when I can add all of them, they give me 180, which it is 40. So this is very important. It is very important. We are going to deal with such questions which require you guys to know what you see on your screen there. Now, for an example, you have this: if tan theta equal to t, express the following in terms of t. Then they say simplify tan 140. The first thing for you to do, you are interested in what? In your equation, which is tan 40 equal to t. But we need to have something like tan 40 equal to a fraction, right? So we can divide that t by what? By 1. So that we can have opposite over adjacent. So this is our opposite, which is y. This is our adjacent, which is x. You see that? Now we won't draw a diagram, but these kinds of problems, they require you guys to draw the diagram. But this one doesn't need a diagram because we have tan there. So tan, you'll see the next one, 140. It is on the second quadrant because 140 is less than 180, so it is 180 minus 180 minus what number did they subtracted from 180 to get 140? This is reduction formula. It is 40. If you didn't watch reduction formula, make sure you go and watch it. It will help you a lot. Okay, now we know that 180 minus, it is on the second quadrant. Therefore, tan on the second quadrant, it is negative. So we'll have negative tan 40. And they say that if tan 40 equal to t, express the following in terms of t. It means that when you simplify everything that they told you to simplify, now you get your answer as tan 40. You need to express that tan 40 or replace that tan 40 with what? With t. But now we have minus tan 40, which is negative t. That's our answer. I hope you understood the first one. Now let's go and try the second one. Guys, make sure you follow. If sine 43 equal to t, express the following in terms of t. Now you are interested in what? In your equation, or on the equation which you are given. So everything you must replace it by t if you get sine 43. So sine 43 equal to t, you must have sine 43 equal to a fraction, right, which is over 1. So you can have what? Y over r, or opposite over hypotenuse. Now our t, it is the y value, and our 1, it is the r hypotenuse. Now you draw what? Your diagram. So all the time make sure that you draw the diagram on that paper which you are performing your calculations on. Now sine 43, it is an acute angle, therefore we'll draw our diagram on the first quadrant, because 43, it is less than 90, and co-functions there, it is 90 minus. Okay, you take that 43, you put it here, and remember you can find the third angle, since you know that all triangles, they add up to 180. So you'll get your answer, the third angle as 47. Make sure that you do this, you will see how this helps. All right, now they say, okay, before we can look at the questions, you have your y as what? As t. Then you have your r as what? As 1 there. Now you must look for the x value. Must look for the x value by theorem of Pythagoras, which is r squared equal to x squared plus y squared. Make sure you draw the diagram, the Cartesian plane, all the time. Now our y, it is t. Now do not forget to put the bracket with the exponent 2. Here we have 1 equal to x squared plus the t squared. Remember, the exponent 2 tells us that the t repeats itself 2 times. So here minus 1 minus t squared equal to the x squared. Now we must get rid of the exponent 2 by putting what? The square root. Now here we'll say plus or minus. Why? Because we are not sure that x, it is positive or negative. Then we know, it's a first quadrant. All the coordinates are positive. X and y coordinates are positive. Therefore we have positive answer here. Therefore x equal to positive square root 1 minus t squared as our value of x, or as the adjacent side. I don't know if you understand this, but let us go then. Now if you have all of this information, you can solve whatever question. Now they say we must express the following in terms of t. We given sine 317. Now 317, it is less than 360, right? So it's on the fourth quadrant. 360 minus what number did they subtracted from 360 to get 317? Now just say 360 minus 317, you'll get that number, which is 43. Now you know that 360 minus, it is on the fourth quadrant. The fourth sign there, it is what? It is negative, which means negative sine 43. You see that now. They say if sine 43 equal to t, express the following in terms of t. When you solve whatever that you are solving, then you get your answer is sine 43. You replace that sine 43 as t. But now we have what? Negative sine 43, which will be negative t. I hope you understand that. So the most important thing, the diagram will help you. Make sure that the teacher or the marker will want to see it. So make sure that you do it on the paper of your calculations. Now we have tan negative 43. Remember that all negative angles, they are on the fourth quadrant. Therefore, if you have a negative angle, you add 360. Now you take that 360 minus 443. Then you see that this is what is the fourth quadrant. Therefore, we'll have what? Negative tan 43. So all negative angles, they belong to, or they belong on the fourth quadrant. Therefore we'll have what? Negative tan 43. So that's very important for you to know that when you have a negative angle, you add what? The 360. So negative tan 43. Remember, when we were doing trig identities, we are not dealing with tan, but we replace what? Tan by sine 43 over cos 43. Now we have what? Our sine 43 there on the statement, which it is t. Now we have what? Negative t. Remember that. I hope you are following. Negative t over cos 43. Now as we have cos 43 here, we go to our diagram. Cos, it is what? It is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is 1. Now our adjacent side, it is 1 minus exponent 2. There inside the square root over the hypotenuse, which is 1. Therefore we have what? Negative t over square root 1 minus t squared. That is our answer. The first important thing for you to do, make sure you draw your Cartesian plane there and look for the values. It's either r, x and y. Then you continue solving whatever or simplifying whatever you may be asked to simplify. Alright, it's given cos 36 equal to p. Express the following in terms of p. The first thing, you draw out your Cartesian plane. You are interested in what? On the equation which you are given, which is cos 36 equal to p. Therefore cos 36 it's an acute angle. So you draw your diagram on the first quadrant on the Cartesian plane, on the cast diagram. Therefore here we have cos 36. Now we must have something like cos 36 equal to a fraction, which is over 1, p over 1, where p is our adjacent, which is p. Now our r, it is that value of 1 there. Therefore we must look forward for y. When you use theorem of Pythagoras, you'll end up having 1 minus p squared, but they must be inside the square root. Now if you are here, then okay, another thing before going to simplify, you take this 36, you put it inside here, then you look for the third angle to complete the triangle or the interior angles of a triangle. So you'll get what? You'll get 54. Okay, this is 54. So it's very important for you to do this thing. Alright, now you can solve your problems which you are given. They say sine 54, and sine 54, it is what? It is opposite over hypotenuse, which is p over 1 equal to p. But if you didn't write that third angle, you wouldn't know that sine 54 it is p. So it is very important. I hope you see the importance of that. Now here they say you must simplify sine 36. Now sine 36 is square root 1 minus p squared over 1. 1 minus p squared, square root 1 minus p squared over 1, which is 1 minus p squared if you simplify it further. I hope we understand each other here. You are given what? Cos 324 or cos 324. 324 is 360 minus. It's on the fourth quadrant. Remember reduction formula. Go and watch a reduction formula. 360 minus what? Which digit did they subtracted from 34 to get from 36 to get 324, which is 36. Now this is the fourth quadrant, and we know that cos there it is what? It is positive. Now we are happy because the statement tells us that cos 36 equal to p. Now we must express the following in terms of p. So we got our answer is cos 36. So we must do what? Express that as p, or replace cos 36 by p. That's what I've done there. So make sure that I hope you understand what we are doing here. Yeah. Okay, if sine 23 equal to t, express the following in terms of t cos 113. The first important thing, we are interested on the equation which we are given, sine 23 equal to t. Now it must be sine 23 equal to a fraction, so which is sine 23 equal to t over 1, where our t, it is what? It is the y value, and r or 1, it is the arc value, the hypotenuse. You draw your diagram or your Cartesian plane. Now since sine 23 or since 23 is an acute angle, you draw it on the first quadrant. You draw your diagram on the first quadrant, writing here what that's 23. Now you must complete the interior angles so that they can add up to 108. So you'll have what? You'll have 67. So that the interior angles are already completed. They're already 180. Now the y value there, it is what? It is t, the opposite value. Now the hypotenuse value or the arc value, it is 1. So for you to get the x, you must do what? You must look for x by using the theorem of Pythagoras. You will get 1 minus t squared, but they are inside the square root. Now you can solve this. You know that 113, it is on the second quadrant. Why? Because it is 180 minus, or it is less than 180. So you write 180 minus. So which number did they subtract from 180 to get 113 or 113? So you say 180 minus 113, you get what? You get 67. And when you look on the diagram there, you do have what? 67. Do you see how important it is to complete the interior angle? So 180 minus, it is what? It is the second quadrant where cos is negative. So I have negative cos 67. So cos here, this is opposite, but we are interested in adjacent of 67, which is t over 1. Negative t over 1. Then our answer, it is negative t. I hope you understand this. I can see that you do understand it. Now the second one, it is cos 23. Now as it is cos 23, we have 23 on our diagram, which is what? The adjacent of hypotenuse, which is square root 1 minus t squared over 1. Then when you simplify it further, you get square root 1 minus t squared. Anything divided by 1, it's that anything. Or something divided by 1 is that something. So for an example, sine 40 equal to e. Now when they give you sine 40 equal to e, then they say solve or simplify cos 40. You must know that cos 40 will be square root 1 minus e squared. I don't know if you get it. Now for an example, they give you sine 20 equal to e. Then they say simplify cos 20. It will be what? It will be square root 1 minus e squared. And by the way, e, it is the initial of my name, LT. That is why I used it. Yeah, beautiful name, LT. It means environment. Please try to do this one. If cos 23 equal to p expressed without the use of a calculator, the following in terms of p. So make sure you draw first what? The Cartesian plane, and completing the interior angles of a triangle to see if you understood what we're doing. Thanks for watching. Please comment if you understood this. Just say thanks, Elton. That will be a clue to me that you understood what I was helping you with here, guys. And do not forget to share the video to other people so that they can understand this better as you are right now. So do not forget to share it to other people. Do not forget to subscribe again. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Yeah, good luck. I know that you are going to write your control tests very soon, so please make sure that you forward this or you share it to other people so that they can be prepared as you are already prepared right now. Thanks.